Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. I'm the old school game snob, and in today's video we are taking a look at the Frozen Orb Nova Sorceress. And this is a character that I'm having a lot of fun with playing, and that is because, well, there's really nothing that can stop her, nothing that can really even slow her down, and she's actually very powerful as well. This is Frozen Orb made as powerful as I can possibly think to make it, and also giving the character a supplementary skill, lightning skill damage. That Nova works really well, unless you fight lightning immune things. That doesn't work too well. Anyway, so let's take a closer look at this character, and then I'll show you how well she excels in some of the areas. And yeah, this is bringing Frozen Orb back into the viability range. The problem is you're going to need quite a bit of gear to accomplish this character, but hey, when you think about how hard it is to find some high-level runes and some of the gear you need for some of the other builds, some of the stuff you need here is actually even more attainable than like high-level runes. So let's take a closer look at this build. So here we are in the World Stone Keep, and I have designed this character with some amount of survivability in mind. Actually, she's quite survivable. She doesn't make use of energy shield, but she's quite survivable. The black souls are no problem. Immunities to cold are no problem. Immunities to lightning are no problem. And yeah, she's actually pretty good at taking damage and dealing with a lot of incoming damage, just because we've stacked up her resistance is really high. We've got her a lot of block skill. She can very effectively deal with everything in the Chaos Sanctuary, even the cold immune casters, which are usually a problem for the Blizzard Sorceress. Well, not too much of a problem for this character because her complementary lightning skill, boy, that was a lot of incoming damage all of a sudden. Her complementary lightning skill really helps to deal with that sort of stuff. So let's just take a quick look, a quick bit of playthrough here in the World Stone Keep so you can get a better feel for this character. I do have an amplified damage on, so I'm not a huge fan of that, but you can see her Frozen Orb is actually quite good. And here we have a cold immune, no problem. We're just going to take out him and his buddies with some lightning. Well, we're going to try to. Here we got an elite who's really fast and good at running away. We're going to forget that guy. You know, we don't need that guy. That's fine. That's fine. There's all sorts of other demons to kill. Alright. Plowing through the minions of hell with our Frozen Orb, which is my favorite spell. And I really wanted to create a build here that basically made Frozen Orb good. Basically made Frozen Orb good, and that is the focus of this build, to make Frozen Orb good, to get as much cold damage as we can, and then of course put in that supplementary skill so that we don't have problems with immunities, just because to max out Frozen Orb doesn't actually require many points, and so you have so many extra points to do something with. And so for that reason, Nova is what we looked at. And the reason we looked at Nova is because Nova only requires 40 points as well. That's as max as you can get it. The synergies for Nova are kind of like the synergies for Frozen Orb. It doesn't require many synergies. So yeah, anyway, we're going to take out Diablo here. I'm just going to show you the power of her Frozen Orb spell against Diablo. You can see that it is quite good. 3 orbs, 3 1/4 orbs take him down. So very powerful Frozen Orb, and very powerful, fun, versatile character, very survivable. This might be my new favorite build. And I know I say that about pretty much all of my builds, but let's take a look. Okay, her Frozen Orb damage is 1500 to 1576, give or take. Her defense rating is all the way up at 8200, and that is thanks to the Mercenary's aura and also her Shiver armor, rather. So this is what helps her to survive quite a lot. I have also given her a decent amount of dexterity. You can adjust this a little bit up, a few points down, a few points up, whatever you like, but right around 50% block is the best my shield can do. I've also put some points into vitality to get her life up a bit. I put a little bit into energy. Actually, that's just in the building process. You can probably leave energy mostly empty, but if you find yourself a little bit low on mana, really depends on what charms you have and that sort of thing. But, you know, right around 600 mana should be pretty good to keep that Nova casting really quickly. Nova does use a lot of mana, so we do want a decent amount of mana over here. We are using the Mercenary Insight rune word to help keep our mana up, just mainly for the Nova spell. That just burns through mana so quickly. Our Mercenary also is using Andariel's Visage. Never mind about that, you can put in a better armor piece. I was just lazy, and that's all I had available at the moment. Okay, let's look at this lady's gear. We of course have Death's Fathom, and that is because it gives us a huge bonus to cold skill damage. Now keep in mind, all of these items you're seeing our hero editor items. So you're seeing the most perfect possible version. You can roll less good than this, and you probably will, but that doesn't mean that your less good roll will be very much less viable. It'll be probably very, very comparable. That being said, just disclaimer. Oh, and by the way, I have socketed this with a cold facet. That is to get the cold damage up 5%, or, 3 to 5%, depending on what your facet is. For her helm, we have Nightwing's Veil. That is because it gives us a very nice +2 to all skills, and an additional up to 15% cold skill damage faceted. Again, with a cold facet, we get a nice bonus. Okay, we are also using Ormus's robes, and that is because they give us a nice bonus to our cold and to our lightning skill damage. We're trying to max out our frozen orb as much as we possibly can, and having that lightning skill bonus as well is great because we got our Nova spell in addition to our frozen orb. So this is a very, very perfect Ormus's robes with a +3 to frozen orb. This is pretty much ideal. That being said, if you just had a plain Ormus's robes with less stats, you would still get plenty enough viability to make this character work, and that is true of all the gear you see. If you don't get these perfect rolls, you'll still have enough viability to make this character work. Pretty darn close. Again, faceted with a cold gem here. For her amulet, what I'm using is a caster amulet with 10% faster cast rate and 2 to sorceress skill levels. This is a very nice caster amulet. It would take a little bit of time to get one of these, of course. This is not the hardest to get. Of course, you can get a nice 220 faster cast, but 210 is good because this bumps us up into that 105% faster cast rate breakpoint, which is good to really get that Nova spell casting quickly. Now, for her gloves, we are using Tranquil's Claws. That is optional. You can also use Mage Fist. Both would be fine. It's basically just to get that faster cast rate. For one of her rings, we have the Stone of Jordan. That is to help get her maximum mana up. For her other ring, we have the Stone of Jordan. That is to get her maximum mana up. You could also use just like some nice plus mana rings. Basically, the main important part of this is to get the mana up to a point where the Nova spell becomes, usable, much more viable because it drains mana so quickly. Like I say, the +1 to skills though is very nice. You lose a little bit of damage when you start taking out the +1 skills, but not a huge amount. So Stone of Jordan is very nice, very perfect option. Plus to mana also good. For her belt, I have Thunder God's Vigor, and that is mainly to increase her survivability up against lightning elemental attacks. This basically makes her immune to most lightning elemental attacks, even that of Dark Souls. And like I say, this character is a bit low on health. She doesn't have energy shields. We want to make her survivable, and in order to do that, we're really stacking up our resistance. The main damage types you'll encounter that are threatening to you are fire and lightning, and for that reason, we've got this plus to maximum lightning resist +10, and we've also got 20 to lightning absorb. That basically turns lightning damage into healing for the most part. We've also got the Inferno Stride boots for the same reason. They give us +10 to maximum fire resist, which is what we're going to be coming up against a lot. 85% versus 75% is quite a big difference. So we're stacking elemental resistance against our main dangerous elemental types. From here, we've got a perfect Spirit Monarch, 35% faster cast rate is what I mean. Perfect FCR. And then, like I say, that is because we are exactly 105% faster cast rate, just barely hitting that breakpoint, making this build hit that breakpoint. Like I say, Nova is good when it's fast. And that is basically the gear. We have got a nice perfect Sorceress as a torch here. This is quite a lot of extra damage, obviously. If you don't have one, you could probably roll without it. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of what it takes, in my humble opinion, what it takes to make a Frozen Orb Sorceress really good. This is requiring some really good gear, really perfect endgame gear to make a Frozen Orb Sorceress really good. The utility of Frozen Orb is really nice. It's a very fun spell to use. It's very easy to cast. It's very easy to cast and run and forget about it, right? And sectionally target what you want to hit. There's a lot of nice utility in Frozen Orb compared to Blizzard. And so this is kind of a build that makes Frozen Orb viable. Like I say, it's not easy to acquire gear, but it is a very, very fun sort of end game character which can deal with anything that comes her way. From here, of course, we have an Annihilus Charm, and from here we have basically Cold Skiller Charms. They don't have to be +40 to life. Life is not the most important thing here. If you had less life, that's okay, but stacking up those cold skills to get that orb spell more and more powerful is very good. From here I'm just stacking whatever I need to get up to my maximum resistances as well. I've also dropped in a little bit of life and mana charm, again, just to get life and mana up to a point where right around here is very, very usable. You can have a little less, you could have a little more. You can also, of course, buff with battle orders, and that helps quite a bit. So yeah, those are kind of what you need to do to get your health and life and mana up to a nice place. And that is a basic rundown of the gear. Like I say, her resistances help to keep her alive. Often when you're playing this character, what you're going to want to do. So often what you're going to want to do when you're playing this character is actually be in walk mode. Right? That way you will not lose your defense bonus. Your character, well, will she walk? Walk character? Oh, right, there we go. Walk mode. I know where all my keys are. I've done this before. Yeah, so walk mode keeps her defense up, and basically what I like to do is keep her defense up, because that is basically where a lot of her basic damage reduction comes from. You get hit less, you take less damage, that's damage reduction, right? After, in a way of thinking about it, it kind of is. You also like to get your Defiance aura up from your Mercenary, make sure you've got your Shiver armor on. And this is the wrong type of damage to kill these guys, so that's not going to work too well, but you just walk around. You walk around, and that keeps your defenses up. You've got a nice high block rate. I think I got around 50% block rate with this character. Let's see, right around 50%, so I've got my dexterity up. So this is where she gets her defenses is from. You know, a lot of times you don't want to be hit. Obviously, you walk around, you teleport around, that's how you do things, and you don't necessarily try to get hit. That's the Sorceress way, the glass cannon style, right? But even if she does come up into the fray of it, she's okay. She can deal with it. She can sit there and throw out novas, and she'll be fine. She's not too squishy. So let's take a look at the Moo farm. We'll do the cow level, see how she does there, and then yeah, I think that'll be a video. I really enjoyed playing this character. She is a lot of fun. Just because she takes every type of creature down, right? Like a lot of powerful builds usually require that you sacrifice one type of damage resistance that you can't really deal with. It just kind of run past. But this character can actually deal with anything and deal with whatever it is really quite quickly. Like it all goes down quite quickly. There's nothing that you have to sort of painfully chip away at or rely on your Mercenary to take out for you. She's good. Your Mercenary is there to keep that rune word up, to keep the Insight aura active. That's what he's there for. That's his job. So consequently, he also stays alive really well because you don't rely on him for too much. So okay, welcome everybody to the Moo farm, where I usually like to end my character guide videos just taking out some cows, see how good, how powerful the character's clear speeds are at the Moo farm. It's a pleasure, I can say, to be able to use Frozen Orb. It's unfortunate that this spell is not a little bit more powerful. I think it could stand to be tweaked up a little bit, just to make it a more viable option compared to Blizzard. Blizzard is, yeah, just so much quicker at clearing. That being said, if you stack up enough gear, whilst Blizzard would certainly still be more powerful, the utility and the functionality of Frozen Orb is very, very nice. To be able to cast and run and shoot specifically where you want it to go, it is a very nice spell to use. It's very, very fun. It's just a lot of fun. And hey, if we're not playing games for fun, what are we doing, right? We can always do the min-maxy stuff, and that's always great. But it's somehow just sort of relaxing and soothing to play Sorceress with Frozen Orb. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, I really am enjoying this character. And like I say, Nova's a lot of fun too, right? Like Nova's actually very powerful. You guys probably saw my Nova build, my Nova focused 200 FCR Sorceress. She's a little bit slower at clearing down the cows than that specifically well-focused build, just focused on Nova spell, of course. But decent. I would definitely favor Frozen Orb with this character over Nova, unless the creature is cold immune, obviously. But yeah, she does a great job here of clearing out these cows. Just like to get into the Frozen Orb sway. It's like a orb and sway and orb and sway. Oh, it's so fun, so nice. Oh yeah, well, I think that probably about ends this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And yeah, should we kill the Cow King? See if he drops any sweet loot for my hero editor character here, because that'll actually be meaningless. Yeah. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. All right. Oh, and additionally, it serves to mention, and you guys probably know this, but Orb and Nova actually synergize very nicely together. Your Orb you Nova, you're back to Orb, you Nova. You're basically pumping out, not twice as much damage, but a lot more damage as you wait for the Orb cooldown to complete. You get, Orb, Nova Nova, Orb, Nova Nova type thing. So yeah, they really work nicely together. So yeah, even faster clear speed than what is already a very fast clear speed. So pew pew pew, pew pew pew. Alright, okay, that's really it. See you in the next video.